How's it going, guys and geeks? Welcome to the Geekritique Show. My name is Dakota.
And I'm Jen.
And we have something with us that we don't usually have on our show. This is a board with every one of the Marvel Cinematic Universe films listed on it in release order. We're going to do something a little bit different today. We're going to be talking about the most essential movies to watch before you go and see Infinity War. And this is going to be a spoiler-filled discussion. So this is strictly for fans of the MCU or those of you who don't care about spoilers that much. You're just trying to get a basic gist of the Marvel Cinematic Universe before seeing Avengers Infinity War.
And that's basically the point of, what we're trying to do here. We want it to be like, so say if Thursday you can binge a couple of movies before going to see the film, these are the ones that you want to prioritize. This was so much harder than we thought it was going to be. So we each have our own separate lists, and the way that we're going to do it is we're going to cross them off as we go, like this one's not as essential or this one is, and just kind of go through it that way. But it gets really tough a lot of the time, especially because we don't know what's going to happen in Infinity War,
or like what's going to be brought up again, or
so it's if
things are going to be like explained again. We don't know.
So we had to choose.
This has nothing to do with the quality of the film. This has nothing to do with our personal favorites.
Yeah, because some of my faves are at the bottom of my list, and it's like,
I know, same. This video is brought to you by Superhero Stuff. They sent us a package. We're gonna open it. We're gonna review some of their stuff, but we're gonna do all that right after this.
Show me what you got.
So we each have our lists?
Yes, we each have our lists. Jen, you go ahead and cross off your first.
I think at the beginning it might be kind of easy. Okay, and let's just take a moment to admire my hard work here. I cross off the Hulk.
Well, your cross is way better than mine.
Yeah, yours sucks because you don't know how to use the Prisma.
It's
color
like a certain
markers.
The reason we chose to mark Incredible Hulk off first is, of all the films, that's the one Marvel wants us to remember least.
Yeah, and not a ton of stuff is ever gonna come up again. Like even the actor changed, so
Bruce Banner gets angry or he gets hurt, Hulk comes out. That's all you need to know about the Hulk. I doubt we're gonna get any more from the Abomination in the film or the other villains that pop up. Really the only connection is probably General Ross, Thaddeus Ross, who pops up in Civil War and will probably pop up again in Infinity War. Mm-hmm. That said, not that important. Jen, what's your number 2?
So my number 2 is Iron Man 3.
Oh, okay. Mine will be
Ant-Man?
Ant-Man.
What?
You first.
Okay, so for me, I have written down, because I did a little chart in my phone, and I kind of put, what's important with the Mandarin, unless they feel like giving us the real Mandarin in this, which I highly doubt.
It's not going to happen in Infinity War.
Yeah, it's not going to happen, so I just don't see, that plot point. The only thing that I could think of that kind of ties in is that's when, Tony Stark kind of starts getting more paranoid.
A little more introspective.
Yeah, so his character development's important, but at the same time, I feel like a lot more character development happens in other films.
Before we continue, guys, in the comment section down below, what do you think, if you can narrow it down to 5 films or even 3 films, what would they be
that you have to watch
before Infinity War? We want to know. Please comment. All right, the reason I chose to cross off Ant-Man here is strictly because I don't think it's going to be that important to Avengers Infinity War. We haven't really seen Ant-Man in the marketing of the film, except for some grainy poster. And he might not even be in it. It just kind of looks like Ant-Man in a little tiny corner of the poster. I don't even know if he's going to be in this film. He's definitely going to be in Avengers 4. That's been confirmed. For now, I think I'm going to cross off Ant-Man. I don't see how any of those characters, besides Ant-Man himself, would have anything to do with Infinity War.
So why don't you do yours? Your third.
Okay. And this one was hard for me. Thor. Everyone hates on Thor, the original Thor movie. I think it's campy and it's fun and all that, but realistically, besides the introduction to the character, as well as Asgard and Loki especially, the relationship with Loki and Thor is delved into pretty heavily in Thor. And the reason I didn't put this any higher on my list is because I think that Bond is shown a little bit better in further movies.
Yeah, I couldn't agree more.
Really?
Yeah, that's the one I have here.
Wow. That's cool.
Okay, your lines actually are better than mine, so...
No way. No.
And one thing, too, is because we know that, in Thor Ragnarok, that Asgard gets destroyed, we know that that's not going to be a key player, at all. Like, it's been ruled out.
The damage is not too bad. As long as the foundations are still strong, we can rebuild this place.
Yeah.
So that was kind of my logic on it. So this one was hard for me, but Spider-Man Homecoming.
Okay. All right.
My reason to I got a little
wow,
close.
That was a big
Jeepers.
price. All right, Jen.
My reasoning is Spider-Man gets a suit, and we're introduced to Spider-Man, and I loved that movie, but a lot of it was very much in his, little corner of the universe.
I also think, with Spider-Man, you already know his origin story. It's been done so many times.
Yeah.
And they didn't even bother to,
This isn't his first introduction to the MCU anyway.
He's in Civil War.
So
technically, that isn't even an origin story. It's just, his first solo movie in the MCU,
Yeah. So that's sad because I love the movie, but I kind of just felt like you don't necessarily have to watch that in order to go see Infinity War.
We will be
Tom Holland is fantastic as Spider-Man, so definitely if you have time, check it out. We're just talking about the essentials.
The essentials here, people.
Essentials.
Wow. Homecoming does give us the Iron Spider outfit, which you mentioned, and that's been in the trailers for Infinity War, so that's definitely going to be the case.
So that's a pretty big deal, but I mean, it's not like you're going to be watching the film and be confused. So
I agree with Iron Man 3. I think the fact that, like you said, Tony Stark is a little more introspective. That was kind of the start of his, PTSD phase, where he started thinking about the consequence of his actions and the rest of the Avengers' actions. I think that really
his legacy, too, as this... I think it, the gravity of, him revealing who he was started to, really sink in at that point.
And he almost had a near-death experience in Avengers.
Yeah.
The way he acts in this film kind of ties in with how he is in Age of Ultron, as well as in Captain America Civil War, and I'm sure in Infinity War.
Yeah.
Because he's trying to be more responsible.
But I don't think you need to watch it.
Besides that, I don't think you need to watch the film just to get that.
And you see that side of him in other films, too.
Exactly.
So, all right, so for me, next is Thor Dark World.
Ooh. Really?
Really.
Okay, explain.
This is a pretty big movie.
Actually, before you explain, I'm just going to cross off, because for me, Spider-Man Homecoming was my fifth that I crossed off.
Oh, okay.
And we kind of just gave the same information. Go ahead and talk about Thor.
This is a big film for Thor and Loki themselves, and this is where Loki controls Odin, but he's no longer going to be a key player. And the Ether Infinity Stone is shown, but other than that, I mean, it's important. I'm not saying it's not important. I just didn't see, weighing it against...
It
the
is
other
also
ones,
probably
I was
the weakest film of them all.
Yeah, but it's not even about that. It's not about because it's not about favorites or anything like that. I just think besides those little facts, you know what I mean, those little tidbits, it's not a huge player compared to some of the bigger scenes that are more pertinent coming up.
Let's do a few more and then we'll open up our box.
Yo, I'm so excited to open my box.
I want to see what we got. I'll go ahead and start this one. Gonna have to do this, but Iron Man 2. It's basically Iron Man 1. With a few more characters. The actual tone of the film hasn't changed all that much from the first Iron Man, but we do get a few new players. Black Widow is introduced, and we finally see Rhodes take up the War Machine mantle and help out Iron Man. It becomes big because of Civil War and what happens in Civil War. So,
yeah, that's where I was too.
Really?
Yeah.
Okay, awesome.
We're so in sync.
Sometimes. I wouldn't have put Thor the Dark World that low.
Whoa.
I mean, did you have anything else to say about Iron Man 2?
No, you have pretty much covered what I wrote down.
Yeah?
So,
okay.
Yeah.
All right.
After that, I put Ant-Man.
Okay, so we can mark off Ant-Man.
So the reason why I think that this is more important, I mean, just in general for world building, quantum physics, I think is really cool and really interesting. I think that that's something that could potentially be a menace for Thanos.
Yeah,
I don't think
sure.
that that's something that he'll see coming from Earth. I think too it's very cool for just the Marvel universe in general, that they expand up through the galaxy, but they're also digging deep into the Earth. And I just think that It's so creative and so interesting, and I don't see how it's not important.
That's fair. I'm going to choose Guardians of the Galaxy Volume 2. I think of the Guardians of the Galaxy films, the first one is far more important to the overall story. But Guardians of the Galaxy Volume 2, while a very fun story, and while it was a more character-driven story about like where the Guardians of the Galaxy are going after after they defeated Ronan the Accuser. Besides the fact that Nebula decides she's going to work with the Guardians and the introduction of like Mantis, I don't see all that much
else, because it's more about Peter Quill and his family.
Yeah, his family dynamics.
Which isn't necessary. It's not like, Thanos' family dynamics.
Yeah, I don't think Thanos is gonna be like, so where's Ego?
And it's also, too, not like Peter Quill kept his abilities.
Right.
That would have been a game changer, because I thought about it, too. I was like, well, that was really cool, but it's not like he kept any of that. Because I think, too, like, when you're going out into the galaxy and learning about this stuff, like, it could be very important. Any little bit of information could pertain to Thanos if we know it or not yet. All right, next.
This one was really hard for me. Not necessarily because I like the film all that much, but because it introduced us to our first Infinity Stone in Captain America, the First Avenger.
What have you done?
We've seen the Tesseract a number of times since then, I think in both Avengers films, and we're going to see it again in Infinity War. We see it in the trailer. It's interesting because we get a little bit of the dynamics between Bucky and Cap, but besides that, I don't think, and the fact that it has the Infinity Stone, I don't think it's all that necessary.
Wow. I mean, this is shocking.
Really?
Yeah.
Okay.
I mean, I'm down here right now. I'm at Guardians too, because I agree with you.
All right, sweet. But you don't agree with me on First Avenger. Oh, your crosses.
It's hard when it gets
They're getting
down
progressively
here.
worse. Like, look at her crosses right now.
Things went downhill fast. Okay, I wrote all of these, so my hand is tired.
Do you disagree with what I said about the First Avenger?
Completely. I completely disagree with that. I don't understand how you could not think that that's like, I don't know. Like, it's not, I don't want to say where it is on my list, but yeah, I'm just like, I'm surprised. Like, that really threw me off. I just think, too, to learn, like, the history that far back of the Tesseract is pretty important.
That's true.
The history of Hydra is pretty important. I mean, not that Hydra is going to be, like, coming up or anything in this.
Yeah.
But I just think, I don't know, like, Captain America is a huge, huge deal.
And that does explain, like, his moral stance the best, I think.
Call me crazy. Call me crazy.
I think with that, we should open up our box. Yes. It's a really nice box, actually.
You probably need scissors, homie.
Nah. But I like the fact that it
nice.
says, this tiny box contains a bottomless pit of awesome.
You never know.
Be sure to go to superherostuff.com for all your like superhero memorabilia needs, especially before Infinity War, because
there's some cool stuff.
You wanna be able to rock it. I hope I didn't break anything.
Yeah, man. Did you not? He literally just punched through the fragile sticker. Give me a break. Give me a break.
Yeah, that was probably a bad idea. All right, what do we have here?
What we got?
Ooh. First things first. We have this really sweet mug.
It's beautiful.
Yes.
It's glorious. I want a drink from you.
Black Panther. We're not going to be taking this to the theater, but we will be taking it to drink coffee every morning.
I was like, where are we taking it? We will be taking it from the kitchen to the couch every day.
Yes. Okay, here we go.
Yay.
Oh, this is super cool. On the inside, we have a little Black Panther insignia.
That's cute. Oh man, actually, it's like nice.
And it's like a nice size, too.
Yeah, it's actually a good size. That's weird, but I like when they have like a wider like lip, I guess, because then like your coffee becomes like a good temperature faster.
I like it has like nice ridging, too.
Thank you.
Thank you, guys. That's really awesome if you guys sent us that.
What you got?
This looks like a t-shirt. For me. Alright, I'm about to put this on, but I'll let you find.
Oh man, that's really cool.
That is super cool.
That's awesome.
Oh, the profile. Oh.
That's beautiful.
I can't wait to wear this. Okay.
Magoost.
Maybe just have some fun.
Finally. It's about time. Oh, this is nice. Check it, ladies. That's so pretty.
Actually, yeah.
I really love it.
The pink is like a nice shade. It's not like too like bubblegummy.
Yeah, it's really soothing to the eye. Alright, I'm putting mine on.
Yeah, let's go try it on.
Check us out.
Yes.
Look.
How does it feel?
It feels really nice. So
Yeah.
I'm really, like, small, just, like, in general. It's kind of like if you took, like, a normal human and, like, grabbed the corner and, like, shrunk it down. Like, that's what I'm, like, just all my, like, even my torso's short, and it's, like, a nice length, and it's comfortable, and it's, like, it fits me. Whereas a lot of times, like, a lot of companies, the smalls don't fit.
I'm really pleased with this, too. As comfy as it is, and I love the way the shirt smells. Because I love new shirt smell. Especially when it comes in the mail. I think they missed a trick. In, you know, Thanos, he's in it for the stones. The Infinity Stones. There's only 3 colors here. I feel like he needs another 3 right here.
You want all the colors. Now you're just getting greedy.
I mean, it's kind of like, this is like what his mind, he's thinking
Are those
of.
the ones that he has, or...?
I don't know.
Well, there you go.
I really don't know.
Well, I love my shirt, so thank you.
Thank you, guys. That was really awesome. Again, if you guys want to check out superherostuff.com, we'll leave a link in the description below, but you should definitely check out their site. They have a lot, like hundreds of items.
Yeah,
it's not
which
just
is cool.
It's not just these 3 items.
I know what I'm wearing Thursday.
By the way, this holds my tea perfectly.
Perfectly.
Yeah, alright, so this is our 9th cross.
So this one was really hard for me, and I feel like I'm doubting myself. Like, now that I'm looking back, I'm, like, doubting myself. I'm like, did I actually put that there? But I did. Here it goes. Doctor Strange.
Ooh.
That's a hard one.
Okay.
My reason is, what we get out of this is the Time Stone, which is really cool. I think Doctor Strange's abilities are really cool. I think he will be a formidable foe for Thanos.
Dormammu, I've come to bargain.
I couldn't justify putting it above some of the other films that I have moving forward.
That's fair.
And that's pretty much all it comes down to. I do think that you should watch this before Infinity War if you haven't seen it.
Yeah.
Because it's crazy cool.
Yeah, especially the way they use the Time Stone.
And even in the trailers, you see, like, the way that they're using, you know, Doctor Strange's powers are incredible.
Like, in conjunction with
Yeah, so if
Iron
you don't
Man
understand how those work, you might be a bit confused.
Lord.
But
Definitely.
again, there are other things that are more pressing, in my opinion.
Okay. Here's where I go ahead and cross off Thor the Dark World.
Took this guy long enough. Wow.
Look, it may not be the best movie, but I feel like it's an important movie for, like, getting to know the ultimate relationship between Loki and Thor. It kind of incites what's going to happen in Thor Ragnarok. The fact that Loki has been ruling Asgard since the Dark World, I feel like that's going to come into play in Infinity War. Obviously, they know he has the Tesseract. The fact that he's been holding that since then,
Okay.
it's not as important as some of the other ones. Like you said, we're choosing the least important ones.
It's hard.
It's
tough.
hard.
It's
This is like probably the hard. It's a exercise in futility. This next, I might even regret putting this low.
That's how I'm starting to feel like getting into this part of the list. I'm like, did I?
I know. Now that we're at the halfway point where we've crossed off,
like, they're all really
half of them.
important movies.
Yes.
I'm gonna cross off Winter Soldier.
Hey, me too. Sweet. I love when I think we got him. Oh, no, except for Doctor Strange, everything's crossed off. Wait, and Captain America: First Avenger.
Yeah.
Okay, Winter Soldier, in my opinion, is way more like necessary or essential to watch than First Avenger.
I don't know about that. I just think overall for Captain America, like, as a whole, like, his character, the history, I just don't see how you could move forward. I don't know. Like, to me, that maybe that's just my personal opinion. I just think it's a very crucial. So for me, some of the ones on my list, in my mind, I'm calling them like the cornerstone films. And they are what the entire universe sits upon. And if you're playing Jenga, you don't just like rip out from like the bottom corner, because that would be kind of stupid, right? So that's kind of how I feel with some of them.
Okay, so why did you choose Winter Soldier?
So it introduces Bucky.
Well, I mean, we knew Bucky from here, but this as the Winter Soldier.
Yeah, as the Winter Soldier, it introduces him in that capacity. which ends up being, you know, like a pretty crucial deal moving forward. But besides that, it's not like we're seeing a ton of Infinity Stone action or like the villains, or we get a lot more Bucky action later that I think is a bit more important.
I don't think Thanos is coming after the Winter Soldier in Infinity War.
Yeah.
Though he is in Wakanda currently.
Yes, so that makes him important.
Be a big player.
Even to some of the worst parts of what he did are found out in other films anyway.
Yeah.
So that was kind of my reasoning, where it's like, yes, Bucky's super important. Yes, like Cap and Bucky's relationship is extremely important. But more like crucial things that I think would affect the team as a whole come to play later.
You're gonna hate me for this.
Cornerstone has been taken out. This boy's gonna lose at Jenga. He doesn't know how to play Jenga.
Oh, I know how to play Jenga.
He actually is really good at Jenga. No.
Iron Man is an incredibly important film for the MCU. It started it all. But beyond starting it all, what I can say about Iron Man, and this ties in with Civil War, it's something that the Vision says about what happens in Iron Man affects the rest of the MCU, which is pretty cool. Mm-hmm. He says,
in the 8 years since Mr. Stark announced himself as Iron Man, the number of known enhanced persons has grown exponentially. The number of potentially world-ending events has risen at a commensurate rate.
For that reason, I think Iron Man is very important. Other than that, I don't know.
I don't feel like my opinion is going to be very popular, but I'm crossing out Ragnarok. I mean, that movie was a lot of fun, don't get me wrong, but again, Asgard is no more.
Yeah, those foundations are gone. Sorry.
I do think that Hela is still alive somewhere, but I don't know if she's gonna come up in this film. Actually, isn't she? Might though, because her and Thanos have a thing.
Maybe.
They?
I don't know.
That's a like potential thing.
In Infinity Gauntlet, Thanos does everything he does to impress the personification of death. And she is the Norse god of death. So I was thinking maybe they would like try to combine those two characters for this, because it kind of makes sense.
In this movie, Mjolnir is destroyed, and we see Groot helping Thor build his new weapon, Stormbreaker, and that's a big deal. And the eye patch situation, like I'm sure he'll be bummed about that, and he got a haircut. Odin's dead. Loki's important, but again, like we didn't see a ton of him. Again, it's just more of like, in my opinion, what am I watching right before Avengers Infinity War?
Fair enough.
And,
that's not
Thor Ragnarok isn't on it.
Although, I will say, this takes place right before Infinity War starts.
Yeah, but we, like, just saw it, like, it just came out.
Okay.
I mean, if you haven't seen it yet, yeah, you should watch it, but I don't think you're gonna be, like, and that's true, like, they meet Stephen Strange there. That's kind of a big deal, too. See, this is where I'm starting to doubt myself. No, I will not fall prey.
Well, you can't go back. You marked it. You already marked it. You can't go back. I'm just worried you're gonna mark something irreversible from the top three. I don't like the top three. We're not going to mark off. I don't want to.
Okay, you're probably I'm gonna like take your biggest one and just cross it off.
I'm scared about that. I'm really scared. You're like a loose cannon.
Loose cannon.
I chose Iron Man last time. This time, Doctor Strange. Yes, very important. And down the line, like eventually you're gonna have to cross off some of the more important stuff. And just because an Infinity Stone is in the movie doesn't mean it is like utmost of importance, So, Doctor Strange, cutting you off. What do you got?
There you go. Alright, so my next one. So this one too, I mean, it's dicey because I feel like people are gonna be like, but what? Because the trailer. I'm crossing off Black Panther. Is that one of your key players, or?
Okay, why?
It was a great movie. It actually is one of my favorites in the MCU now, just in general, so don't get me wrong. And I know that a large part of this is going to take place in Wakanda, but this isn't where we're first introduced to Wakanda.
Wakanda.
Like,
well, it is, like, the actual country.
Where we go there, yeah, but we hear about it before.
Fair. Look, she's ruining a good thing.
I just think that there are some other movies that I think are a bit more important to Infinity War. Like, I think you're thinking of it too in a very linear way. And that's not how I think about this situation at all. Like, I'm like thinking the opposite of linear. Like, I'm all over the place with my situation. Just because this is right before to me doesn't mean it's necessarily the most important. If anything, I feel like some of the older ones are more important because you haven't seen those in a while, so you might want to get refreshed. But as far as like the geographical location, I'm sure there'll be plenty like of Wakanda to see in this film. You know what I mean? It's going to take place there.
Fair enough.
Which is great. T'Challa, he still is the Black Panther. It's not like Killmonger won, you know, and it's not like we got confirmation. Like, yes, there's speculation that there is a Soul Stone there. That isn't confirmed yet, you know what I mean? So that's why, because of that, I was like, I don't know. Just because it takes place there doesn't mean you have to watch this.
Okay.
So that's my opinion.
Okay, so we're at our top 6 picks.
This is tough, man.
Okay, I'm gonna go ahead and now take off Thor Ragnarok. Kind of for the same reasons I mentioned earlier. It's a very important film. It kind of ties, or it leads right into Infinity War. But it isn't essential. If you're trying to catch up on like the most important stuff that happens in the MCU before you see this movie, it's up there, but it's not top 3, top 5.
And I think like the contents of Infinity War will tell us how important it really is. Like if Hela comes back or something like that,
True.
then we'll be like, oh crap, who's that? You know what I mean?
Yeah, that's
but
true.
But we didn't see that in the trailers at all, and like we don't really have any indicators of that.
All right, Jenna, what do you choose? Oh,
so
I'm
now I cross out First Avenger.
Okay, I'm not nervous at all.
I think the history of Hydra, the first sighting of the Tesseract, which has the Space Stone, and that's first seen there. I think having that knowledge of like this has been on Earth for so long. And one thing I was saying to Dakota is like Thanos really lucked out because he happened to find a planet where like all the stones are. For what reason? We don't know why they're all there. Mm-hmm. And I think going that far back into the history and getting any details that we can is very important. Like another thing that isn't on this list that we're catching up on completely is Agents of S.H.I.E.L.D. And I don't know why, I just have a feeling that like a lot of these like smaller pieces might come into play and that
possibly.
And two, just getting, I think the huge, you know, players in this are Captain America and Iron Man, and getting their origin stories and like getting their characters at their core is super important.
That would be your top 6.
So we're working our way down.
It gets dicier and dicier every one. What's alive right now? Okay, Iron Man's alive. Avengers, Age of Ultron, Guardians of the Galaxy Volume 1, Civil War, and Black Panther. I'm gonna have to cut Black Panther out of the running. Top 5. I mean, if you have time to watch 5 films between now and Infinity War, Black Panther should be among them. Though it hasn't been released on home video yet, so it makes it very hard to do so. Unless you actually like go to the theater, watch Black Panther, and then watch Infinity War.
That's an option.
Next.
So my next one is the cornerstone of all cornerstones, Iron Man.
Oh, this is getting actually really interesting. Because now we have
these last ones that we haven't even touched, so we kind of are in agreement,
my gosh.
Which is pretty cool.
This is going to be the hardest because...
This is getting tough. It's been tough. Who are we kidding? So with me, with Iron Man, I think that moment at the end of Iron Man... First of all, Iron Man in general was like my favorite superhero film. Still is, I think. Besides Unbreakable, but that's a whole different story.
Whoa.
We're not talking MCU there,
okay.
But in the MCU, like nothing beats Iron Man. Iron Man was one of the first superhero films like I ever appreciated, like because I wasn't raised in this geeky environment, and that was like something I like I saw it and I loved it. You know what I mean? Like I loved it, and I think that moment where Tony Stark comes out and says, "I am Iron Man."
It just
that led
for
to
superhero movies.
Yeah, and then you have the Sokovia Accords, which are still a huge deal, still to this day, from that moment, where the Vision even said that in Civil War, which is a huge deal. So I just don't get how, like, Tony Stark is the one who started all of this. You know what I mean? Like, you can't move forward and not watch that film. You can't do it.
All right.
You just can't.
Guys, this is the moment of truth. Will we agree on the last cross of our list? I highly doubt it.
Yeah, at this point.
I think my choice is controversial because it is my favorite movie in the Marvel Cinematic Universe. I have to go with crossing off the Avengers. It kills me to do that because it's such an essential movie. It is the best, in my opinion, movie in the MCU. It's the first time they all got together and you saw like the ensemble team work. But the thing is, you also get that in Age of Ultron. The hardest part about crossing off Avengers is you get 2 Infinity Stones in it. But both of those are like used later on in other films. I think the events of Age of Ultron tie way more into Civil War and will definitely tie into Infinity War more than the events in Avengers. Besides the fact that like Loki had the Tesseract. And the reason I kept Guardians is because they explain everything about the Infinity Stones. Oh, I can't believe I didn't choose Guardians. But I stick to my guns. I think Guardians technically is more important to watch than Avengers for Avengers Infinity War. And the reason I say that is because you already get the Avengers here. If you cross Guardians out, there's a sizable portion, that's 40% of the cast, that you do not know who it is. So I think my top 3 would be Guardians, Age of Ultron, Captain America Civil War. Civil War, probably the most important for me, I think, in my opinion, because that is where we've left most of our characters off. Go ahead, Jen. I'm sorry.
That was such a touching speech, but I'm crossing the...
No!
That was really lovely and all, but in Civil War, they like literally do a play-by-play of the events that happen in the Age of Ultron. Yes, you get the Vision and other key characters. You know, I get that. I do. And two, like a lot of the information of like why the Sokovia Accords and all of that even started, you get in Civil War anyway. Like it was that big explosion that happened.
See, she's analytical.
So to me, it's like, is Age of Ultron that important? Like, it's important, don't get me wrong, but for me, I would much rather watch the first Avengers where they're all together and, like, see how, like, you know, jovial they are and, like, haha, look at us go, we're having a blast, and then you see that contrast to the events in Civil War, and I feel like just those two side by side would be more important than these because they're similar in tone and events. So that's why I'm keeping this one. Guardians, I think, is extremely important. My last 3 are...
Wait. Before you name your last 3, we have 4 live. I want to end this with top 3.
I don't think it's possible.
We have to cross off another one. This is bonus meme territory. This is bonus meme territory. Okay, I didn't want this to happen, but we have to cross off another.
Okay.
And hopefully one of us crosses off something that we...
Yeah.
All right, okay.
Okay, you're on crack cocaine, I swear.
What are you crossing off?
I'm crossing off Avengers after this one. Am I doing this wrong?
No, we did it.
Like, what? I don't understand.
Okay, so...
How? You can't, like, you said it yourself. Guardians of the Galaxy talks about the villain himself, his daughter. Gives you all the information on him, like, his whole thing, and, like, how he's evil, and how he, like, tortured them, and...
So you're saying that would be the number 1 most important?
To me, that's the cornerstone of the galaxy. You have the cornerstone of the ground, the cornerstone of the galaxy.
Time. Quantum realm.
Let's, like, think about this. Let's use our noggins. Like, my god, what do you need,
That's
a mind
okay.
stone right now?
That's okay.
Like, are you crazy? What is your last 3?
My last 3 are Guardians, Age of Ultron, and Captain America Civil War.
Okay.
Which, Captain America...
Well,
Civil
we
War,
both
Ultron.
agreed that Civil War is the most important then
Yes.
to watch.
Okay.
So we're in agreement there.
So at the very least, we can say that everything else is crossed off except for these 3 films.
They've survived.
They've survived the process of elimination from these 2 idiots. What do you guys think? Are these the most important films to watch before you go and see Avengers Infinity War this week? Are you seeing it this week? Why not?
Yeah, who are you?
Who are
Think
you?
you're better than us?
Thank you again to superherostuff.com for sending us this awesome stuff to
Yeah, the
review.
shirts are
What do you
great.
think of your shirt?
I love it.
You're gonna
I
wear
love
it on Thursday,
Yeah,
right?
dude.
Okay.
What else am I gonna wear? I love this. I'm excited.
All right. I'm gonna wear this too. I'm very excited. Thank you guys so much for watching. If you like this video, please be sure to like it and subscribe if you have not already. You can just click that big circle thing that's spinning down there. That'll mean a lot to us. Again, check out superherostuff.com. Link in the description below. But until next time, thanks guys.
Bye.